In the summer of 2004, I was working in a Broadway theater. And let me tell you something, 28 is a really young age to have your dream job. I also got married that summer to that guy over there. And I realized that maybe a job in the theater would not make enough money to raise a family in New York City. So I had to pick one. I had to either stay at my job at the theater, or I had to get a job that would maybe pay more and might allow me to work somewhere other than New York City. So in January of 2005, I took a position at a university as an admissions professional. And I thought, this is great. I am making more money, and there are universities and colleges all over the country in small towns that are much less expensive than New York City. Perfect. In January of 2005, there was this thing called the Gates in New York City. Anyone? Okay, so if you don't know what the Gates are, it was a site-specific art piece by Christo and his wife Jean-Claude. They were 16-foot tall gates with saffron curtains hanging in them. And it was January in New York City, and it transformed Central Park into the most magnificent thing. And when I tell you that Central Park is one of my favorite places on earth, the fact that it could raise the level of Central Park just like blew my mind. So I'm at my new job, and I get a call from the woman who replaced me at the theater, and she said, we are taking the interns, it's the group that I used to manage, to the Gates for a field trip. Do you want to meet us there? And I was like, oh, I really do, but I have this new meeting at my new job, and I don't think I should, I've only been here 3 weeks. I shouldn't nope out for a field trip. I had already been to the Gates a couple times. I knew it was phenomenal. I really wanted to go with the interns, but it didn't make sense. And so the next day, I was telling my new coworkers, I got invited to go to this thing, the Gates in Central Park, but we have that meeting tomorrow, so I had to say no, and I'm sort of bummed. And I expected commiseration. And instead I got a tirade about how wasteful and stupid and vapid and what the fuck is that even thing? And I was like, oh. So I picked one. And I picked the wrong one. And so now I'm in this job with people who don't get me, and I don't get, because let me tell you, art is transformative. It's healing. I know these things. It does not pay well, but I know these things, and I love these things, and I'm oh, I screwed up. Okay. Fast forward to 2017. I am indeed working on a college campus in a smaller, more affordable place, Lancaster. And it is the early days of the Trump administration, Trump 1. And our government conducts a drone strike on Syria. I don't know if you all remember this, so much has happened since then, but it was a really big deal. Lots of civilians were killed, lots of children were killed, and I come into the office at the university the next day, and I am sort of a mess. And I have an office next to this really wonderful professor, and she's like, you're sort of a mess. And I was like, yeah, and I sort of told her why I was, and she's like, I know, it's horrible. What are we even gonna do? I don't know, it's horrible. And I was like, it is really horrible. I don't know what we're gonna do. And she said, why don't you come to my class at 11? So this was 8 in the morning. She's like, come to my 11 o'clock class. And I don't know, I was such a mess that I was like, sure, come to your 11 o'clock class. I have no idea what I was doing. And so at 11 o'clock, I go up to the 3rd floor, and there's this small group of women in her class, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely better than being by myself in my basement office. But I'm still not really sure what I'm doing here, but I'm grateful for the invitation and the community, so I'm just gonna sit and be quiet. And then she says, we're gonna do a writing exercise. Everyone take out a paper and pencil, an actual writing exercise. And so someone hands me paper and pencil, or pen probably, I don't know. And she says, do we want to listen to music while we are writing? And immediately one student says yes, and one student says no. And I see the look on the professor's face, and she's like, because she has to pick one, right? She's like, someone said yes, someone said no. So she says, how about I put something on my iPod that is music but without words. Okay, everyone agrees to that. And again, I'm still not sure what I am doing in this room. And the music starts, and I recognize it immediately because it is a piece by the violinist Regina Carter, who, in my former life in the arts, I worked with. And I was friends with Regina and her bandmates, including her husband, and all of a sudden, the memories of the art that we made together came flooding back to me. And I realized that I may have picked the wrong career, but the art was never going to leave me. And maybe it wasn't actually the wrong thing. Maybe I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Thank you.